Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA video, we're going to be talking about some bad news for Grand Theft Auto 6, how an insider believes that this title will be the only title that Rockstar puts out on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and also hearing from another insider that you know about, Tez Funds 2, on how Rockstar are preparing for the release of GTA 6, and how they've done so by adding more talented people that actually create the game. So let's talk about that little bit of bad news first, and it doesn't necessarily have to do directly with GTA 6, but it's kind of interesting. So earlier today, there was a report, well, it's official now, TakeTwo Interactive, who's the parent company of Rockstar Games, they buy Farmville creator Zynga for $12.7 billion. So this is one of the latest blockbuster acquisitions in a string of major video game deals in the industry. And in case you don't know who Zynga is, they're essentially one of the largest mobile gaming companies. They obviously came up with Farmville and are capable of producing other really big mobile titles. So I'm not sure what this necessarily means for TakeTwo Interactive and Rockstar going forward in the future. But all I know is I don't play a lot of mobile titles. I don't know how many mobile titles you play. I guess I just can't see this as good news for like big console titles like GTA 6 and Red Dead Redemption 3, because I would imagine that doing something like Farmville might bring in more money. It might be easier to produce a title like that. I don't know the ins and outs of building a game like that, but I can only imagine more focus on mobile-only games is not good for GTA 6. Now, this move from TakeTwo Interactive is also kind of some 4D chess, because Zynga, this company, actually bought Natural Motion in 2014, and Rockstar actually uses Natural Motion's tech. And so now TakeTwo Interactive owns Zynga, which means they now own Natural Motion. So maybe this is actually good news at the end of the day. Maybe they're not really purchasing Zynga for its mobile game capabilities, but they want the engine that's going to be associated with it. That is kind of an interesting way to think about it, and also an expensive way to go about acquiring something via TakeTwo Interactive. So if you guys are interested, I'll leave a link to an article in the description. It's on cnbc.com. They cover a lot of like market, business, investing, stuff like that. We'll end up seeing how this impacts the GTA 6 atmosphere. There's some quotes from TakeTwo Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick on there, who we've referenced him in the past. And like I mentioned earlier, this is not the first big acquisition that's happened. Remember, in 2020, Microsoft bought Bethesda for $7.5 million. Electronic Arts bought the racing game developer Codemasters for $1.2 billion later in the year. And as just a quick update to this entire saga, TakeTwo Interactive have had a new 52-week low on their stock price. After this news broke today, it dropped nearly 13%. That's huge, and prices have not been like that since last September. Now, this might not all be TakeTwo Interactive. It might be the current state of the world, as we're going through some pretty difficult times right now. But it's interesting that prices, again, ended up dropping after this news, which I would assume it means consumers are not all that thrilled or excited about it. So just something interesting right there. So we'll keep an eye on this, but long story short, I just don't see this being all that great news for Grand Theft Auto 6. But again, I'll keep you posted. Now, another insider that we've been following over the last couple of days is Account in GT. And as I've said in the past, this guy has had information on titles that were like announced, like Star Wars clips, before people even knew what it was going to be. So this guy clearly has a source or some insider information or something along those lines. And he was doing a Q&A on Twitter where he not only talked about that his most excited upcoming announced project was GTA 6, but when someone asked how many games should we expect from Rockstar this generation, he says, if we are talking about new games, then I think only GTA 6 will be released. So that means that as far as new titles go, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be the only one on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Now, don't get shocked about this, because if you think about it, Red Dead Redemption 2 was technically the only new title that was released for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One era. Sure, we had GTA 5 that was, again, re-released for PS4 and Xbox One, but at that point, you wouldn't really consider that a new title. You would just consider that a new version on a new system. So I can imagine with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X era, you could think we're probably, hopefully going to get GTA 6. If not, oh my goodness, I can only imagine. We might never get it at that point. And then we might end up seeing Red Dead Redemption 2 remastered. We're obviously going to be getting expanded and enhanced Grand Theft Auto 5, and it makes you wonder what else Rockstar is going to be doing. But as far as the new games go, it looks like now Rockstar is a one game per console lifecycle developer, which I know is going to make a lot of people upset because they were used to the days where Rockstar would be putting out Grand Theft Auto title after title after title, mixing in Max Payne and Midnight Club and Bully and Red Dead Redemption. That is the Rockstar of old. The Rockstar of new really prioritizes on just making these big titles and having them pretty much release basically just one console cycle. So that's it. For the Xbox 360, it was GTA 5. For the PlayStation 4, it was Red Dead Redemption 2. And hopefully with the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, it's going to be GTA 6. So that's just interesting bit of information right there. Again, I'll also keep you posted on that. Now, it looks like Rockstar at least has been ramping up for Grand Theft Auto 6 for quite some time now. So there was some discussion about how many employees Rockstar actually has. Someone said, you have some very, very old data. Nowadays, they have about 1,200 employees at the Edinburgh studio only. I'm not even going to mention the hundreds of testers at Lincoln. Rockstar is way, way, way bigger company nowadays than 10 years ago. Hell, they employed way over 500 people at Rockstar India alone. And then linking this article right here. And then we heard from Rockstar Games Insider Tez Funds 2, who said this. Keep in mind that article didn't mention on April 1st, 2017, and as a part of a 2017/2018 filing, the net asset of Leeds, London, and Lincoln studios were transferred to Rockstar North. That's why the employee count doubled, not really because Rockstar suddenly hired that many employees. All I'm really hoping for, and this is no offense to the guys at Grove Street Games, I hope GTA 6 is totally produced in-house and they don't outsource any of it. We kind of saw what happened when they tried to do the trilogy, the definitive edition. There were so many glitches and bugs and things that were broken and oversights and stuff that didn't make sense. And it might not have been Grove Street Games' fault. They might have been forced to push out the title way earlier than they wanted to. But it still wasn't a completed product. And I think the damage has been done with the trilogy, the definitive edition, just because of its poor reviews at the beginning. And I would just hate to see that happen to GTA 6. So I know recently we've been talking about a lot of this game that hasn't even been officially announced yet, but we've been seeing a lot of interesting things, that it will be announced this year in 2022, that it's going to be Rockstar's only next-gen title, or at this point, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S title. And then also some interesting news coming from their parent company that they're buying a mobile gaming platform for almost $13 billion, which I don't know if that bodes well for a massive console title like Grand Theft Auto 6. But anyways, you guys can let me know in those comments down below what you think of all the info we discussed in this video today. You can let me know what you think down there, or you can reach out to me on my Facebook page where you can send photos, videos, messages, and a whole lot more. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and all the Rockstar Games videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.